we're gonna set up our foundation for yoga practices, and we're gonna call it like a beginner style practice. So for those of you out there whom are new to yoga or aren't sure if yoga is for you, or you don't know really how to approach starting yoga, this practice is for you, okay? I'm gonna set you up so that you have the understanding of how to work with your body, how to listen, what to look for, and what to feel and experience in certain yoga asanas, so postures. Now, for those of you out there whom already have a practice going, and you're moving into maybe the next levels of your practice where you're becoming more advanced. Advanced doesn't mean like, you know, leg behind the head or something like that. It means that you're doing your practice more frequently. You are very comfortable in a wide range of postures, and you're looking for the next stages, like maybe inverting or more balancing, more strength building postures, those kinds of things. Now, with my more advanced practitioners out there, people that already have a solid foundation, and myself included, I always take a step back every now and then to tune into where maybe I've fallen into bad habits, and we all get them. It's inevitable, it's gonna happen. And in yoga, this is a message that I'm gonna give you where it'll maybe take you to an understanding of, why am I going backwards for some reason? I was so there. This is what happens in yoga. You practice, and then you move forward like, 3%, you're getting like better, and then all of a sudden, one day or a couple practices, you went backwards for some reason. You went backwards like 2% or 5%. It's normal. And then what's gonna happen is you just keep practicing, just keep going through that, and you're gonna jump forward a huge percentage in your practice, and you'll stay there for a while. Then you go back, and then you go boom, you'll go forward even more. So keep that in mind. And then, so we're gonna start on the back body, and we're just gonna warm up the joints. So if you know someone out there who is wanting to tap into yoga, or taps in, taps out, they don't have a solid practice, I'm gonna give you some advice. Take your yoga mat, put it in an area in your home where you know that you have space, and keep your mat unrolled. Do not roll it up in some closet somewhere and shove it back in there at the end of your practice. Keep your mat visual and out there in your surroundings, okay? Keep your tools that you may need in your yoga area. Set it up so that it's there for you, so that you're more enticed to come and practice, okay? So with that, let's lie down on our backs and set up for foundation. Now, this is for beginners and people who already have an established practice. It's for you. And lie back.
This is for those bodybuilders that,
it's for everybody.
No, I don't want to do yoga, but they really could benefit from the stretching.
Like I said, keep your mat rolled out. Lie down on your back, draw your feet down to the floor. I'm not trying to bore you, I'm trying to set you up for good positive practice with injury-free, okay? Spread your arms wide, out off the shoulders. Get a sense of your spine, just lengthen the spine. So from here, tilt your chin in, okay, so that you are on the back of the middle part of your head. Chin is in, neck is long. Take your tailbone and anchor it, like tuck slightly towards your heels. Keep your back, move your shoulders, push your navel down and towards the mat, and then you're gonna feel this solid foundation through your spine. So I'm pressing into my feet. I've already adjusted, so I'm not like this with my head, I'm not hinging. I've engaged. So now what I'm doing is I'm pulling up through the head and down through the tailbone. So I'm getting the length in the spine. Now you're gonna draw your knees up, keeping this foundation, flex the feet, and take the knees over to the left side. You're gonna inhale. When you exhale, exhale down deep and towards the belly. And you're gonna feel A nice release in your lower back and in your quadratus. Be here for a couple of breaths. This is great right here. So what you want to do is you want to inhale. Then you want to press your tongue to the bottom of your mouth to open up your esophagus, to open your throat pipe, and then push the breath down with your mouth closed so that now you're going to feel your belly engaged. So it goes like this. So I'm going to inhale, open my mouth for a second, tongue to the bottom of the mouth, and go. Okay, so it's like you're humming. Take your knees over to the right on an inhale. And exhale as they draw down towards the floor. Your head can come with you, or you can stay neutral. Okay? So the breath is the most important part of the practice of postures, okay? In order to get into positions and elaborate on the positions and get length in them, you need to breathe, and you need to breathe firmly. So you would inhale. Okay. So if it's challenging to practice the breath, you want to start as you inhale. You want to start with your lips apart, and then as you exhale, you slowly start to bring the lips together, creating this hollow, heated feeling and sound, moving the breath into the belly. It doesn't stay in towards the lungs. The breath moves down. Okay? So keep that in mind. Inhale back to center. Now we're just going to come into what we would call our happy baby pose. So for this one, with bent knees, draw your legs fairly far apart, and you want to either just reach to where you can get to without lifting your chest. I'm going to go for my calves, or actually I'm going to go for my ankles right now, and I'm going to pull down, okay? And you're going to feel your sacrum, your lower back, spread across the floor, which is great. There's a lot of cartilage in the pelvis, in the hips, and they're quite flexy, especially in the female body. You have more give there. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my peace fingers and grab onto my big toes because I have the ability to do that today. So I'm going to go for that. You want to have your shoulder blades on the mat, okay? So if you cannot hold your toes with your shoulder blades on the mat, you need to move down towards your ankles because we don't want to be hinging in the neck joint. I actually want my shoulders, my blades on the mat. So if that can happen for you, you go there. Be here, okay? If you can, straddle the legs. Go ahead and straddle the legs to get more of a deeper stretch in the hamstrings. If that's not gonna be there for you today, then don't do it, okay? Don't push in the yoga practice. Wait for it, right? You could also do one leg at a time. Okay? We're setting this up, warming up before we come into our standing postures. Just want to get you warmed up before you start moving a little bit deeper. Legs come together, straight up. Hands just on the belly. Take a breath in. Put one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. Take a breath in through the chest. And exhale the breath down to the belly and feel the engagement. Remember, you can open the lips and then slowly close them on the exhale. So inhale. Remember to press the tongue to the bottom of the mouth. Try it again. Inhale. Draw the knees down, roll over to the right side, and sit up. And don't keep on your back too long, especially if you're newer at this. You're gonna swing the legs around to the right. You're gonna come onto the hands and the knees. Okay. And you're gonna pull back into what we call a child's resting position. So you're gonna dig your toes in towards your yoga mat and push with your hands back, your hips towards your heels. Doesn't matter how far you get, okay? But in order to get further back if the range of motion is there for you. Use the grip in your yoga mat with your hands to push back. Okay? Now you're gonna feel the spine, especially from being on the back, you're gonna feel the lower back and from the lumbar, sacrum, lumbar, and into the lower thoracic spine by the low ribs here. Rest your forehead on the floor, on the mat. And I simply ask you to turn your head with a bit of pressure in the forehead, side to side. Tap into the brain, tap into the mind, get into the soul. Just going side to side here. I'm gonna warm up the shoulders before I bring you into a downward facing dog. So you're gonna reach the right arm forward, flip the left palm, and slide the hand underneath. Now you're gonna get into the scapula. Okay, you're gonna get into the shoulder blade. Keep pushing your hips back, okay? And I want your head on the floor. If you can't get your head on the floor, you're gonna put a block or a towel or a blanket here so that you can have your head resting on something. I don't wanna hang it in the air, okay? So you always wanna have good form there. So reach out as much as you can, both arms straight. Breathe. In through the nose. And down through the belly. One more. And exhale. We got a lot of information coming your way today. Be prepared. It's fun.
I'm almost ready to go.
Yeah, reach your left arm forward, flip the right palm, and you're gonna notice that you're getting a full stretch in the scapula. So if you don't know what that is, it's right in here, the upper shoulder in the back. And reach both arms straight forward as best you can. Remember to support your head if you're not able to get it down today. You should feel a release in the pelvis and in the lower back. You should also feel a release and a stretch through the side body and your ribs. Focus on the breathing. You're going to feel your quadriceps as well. And slowly come out. Now before we go up right into the down dog, I'm going to open up the quadratus lumborum and the lower back and engage the stomach at the same time. So it's a great way to release the side body and to wake it up as well. So instead of being in a cat-cow sort of position, you're gonna reach your arms more forward, okay? Knees are gonna come back so you're kind of in a stretched out position. Knees together, hands apart. Use the grip in your hands for the mat. Draw your hips over to the left and exhale and let the hips hang.
It's very echoey for some reason.
Keep
today.
your belly engaged.
Sorry.
Use the strength in both arms. Don't slouch in the left side here. Use both arms. Inhale through center and drop over to the right side. Again, don't slouch. Push into both arms. You should get a big stretch right across the waistline. Okay, and release. Now I know that we got some tight bodies out there, right? Like for muscles and whatnot. And some of us just have shorter ligaments. Some of us just have never been flexible in the hips. You really struggle there. It's okay. It's totally cool. You can still practice yoga. You're just gonna have to really focus on maybe catering or tailoring your practice more towards those tighter areas, right? So that they can release. They'll just take a little longer to get there. But it's okay, because they'll get there, right? So let's come into this stage of a downward facing dog, okay, where it's an inversion and it's a resting posture, but it's not just hanging out in the hands and in the legs. You're building strength as well, okay? And you need to have strength to do the posture as well. A little bit of flexibility. So we'll start from our hands and knees. Hands are shoulder distance apart. Spread the fingers nice and wide, and I want you to press into the tips of your fingers. Don't sit in the heel of your hand. Over time, that will cause wrist damage, and some of us just have weaker wrists in general. So press into the tips of the fingers. Tuck your toes, and you're gonna push your hips up towards as high as you can, okay? If you are quite snug in the hamstrings, have your heels lifted and have your knees bent, okay? This is totally fine. Even if you're here, that's fine. I don't want you to put the weight forward. Always push your hips up towards the ceiling. Engage your stomach, and then you'll slowly lengthen the legs to draw the heels to the floor if that's gonna happen for you today. If it's not, no biggie, and you can always slide a block like this under your heels to help you aim and have some support so that you're not sitting in the toes, but you're actually getting an understanding of how to feel something underneath your heels if it's not the earth today, okay? So grab a block, grab a blanket, folded up towel if that's your struggle. No big deal. Okay, downward dog. Straighten the arms, press into the spreaded fingers. The head is completely released. Please do not do this. Do not sit in your back. Your back is full, okay? So it's almost like you're protracting, but you're not fully rounding. You're finding a common medium. The belly is engaged. Wherever you are with your feet, it's totally fine. Your legs. Take 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. You should feel the belly firm up. Inhale. Exhale. Now I want you to bend the knees and step your right foot forward and then your left. So the right foot's coming forward and then the left foot's coming forward. Okay? Hanging forward full. So for here, stay where you are or have blocks. Again, this is for a flexibility purpose. Keep the feet either like a fist distance apart with the legs, or you can bring them together if you have a little bit more range of motion in your hamstrings, okay? Now I'm gonna get you to inhale, come all the way up into standing. So we're just gonna roll up, the head's gonna be the last to rise. So pressing through the feet, strengthening the legs, engaging through the hips, pressing the hips slightly forward, lifting the shoulders up and placing the shoulder blades on the back, and voila, the head. Every single posture in your yoga practice starts here, starts at the standing foundation. You are mimicking this posture through all the postures, okay? So, we're gonna start into Tadasana. Standing pose. What I want you to feel here is either the feet together or slightly apart. Spread the toes. Feel the weight evenly through your feet. Take a moment to get there.
Kim's gonna make noise for a second.
There you go. That should be better.
From the feet, what you want to feel. Some people have hyperextended knees. Do not sit in your knees. If you struggle with hyperextension, you need to have softness in the knees. You need to understand how to be there, okay? I do not have that, so I'm gonna flex my knees to just get a lift in my quadriceps so that my quads are engaged. The tailbone, I'm going to not sit in my back. This is natural for me to kind of arch in my lower back. I'm not gonna cater to this because my body wants to just sit here. I'm going to anchor my tailbone towards my heels, not overly, just enough that I'm not sitting. I'm pulled in neutral, okay? Now my belly's firm. Shoulders up and back, palms slightly open, chin is slightly in, and I'm feeling a gravitation of the crown of my head lifting up and the rooting of my feet drawing down while I have this solid structure in my skeletal system, okay? Let's inhale, take the arms up. And exhale, let's fold forward towards our block. Soften the knees, hinge at the hips, lengthen the spine, and reach for your blocks or the floor. Wherever you get here to forward fold, I want you to push into the mat or push into the blocks like these are a pair of hands. So to get forward, you have to push into the mat like you're sliding forward and engage your latissimus, engage
engage your stomach muscles and start to draw your vision towards the toes. Lean slightly forward to get a vertical in your gluteus. Okay? Wherever you get to. If you're not this far, it's fine. You can be here. As long as you're not like this. I don't want the protracting of the back. I don't want the rounding of the spine. Leading with the heart center. Okay? Heart, ribs, stomach. Get here. Inhale, come to an extension of the spine. The whole belly is engaged still. So you're just lengthening your torso off your hips. This is called spinal extension. We're moving through a sun salutation in a modified version. Root through the hands and step back your right leg and step back your left leg. Right here, you might be like, oh wow. So then drop your knees. Okay, if you need to drop your knees, drop your knees. If you don't need to, maintain a plank. Okay? Then from here, we're gonna lower down. So I'm gonna do the modified version. I'm gonna lean forward, engage the belly. Shoulders are on the back body. So already get this action going for yourself, okay? Then your deltoids won't dip forward. They'll stay neutral. You're gonna bend and graze the elbows by the ribs and come all the way down. Notice my shoulders didn't drop, they didn't do this. Back. Move my blocks. Take your arms slightly forward, bending at the forearms, and we're gonna come into Cobra Pose, which is a modified version of our upward dog, okay? So what we're gonna do is strengthen the feet, lengthen the legs, lengthen the tail of the body from the hips down. And it's like you're dragging your ribs forward along the mat. And you're not hinging the head. You're opening up through the back body. So come up as far as you can, keeping everything engaged. Okay? Envision a cobra, a snake. Breathe here. Like bending the elbows. You're doing your cobra, your hips stay down on the ground. Okay? You're lifting your upper trunk, the hips and the legs stay down, but they're engaged. Lower down. Use your blocks, or you don't have to use your blocks. Bring your hands past the armpits, shoulders. So you want to have that 90 degree from the shoulders to the elbow down the wrist. You can see how I have that L shape going on. Okay, I'm not up here, I'm back here. Pull the shoulder blades back. Softness on your knees, so keep your knees down. We're going to work our way back to downward dog. You're going to inhale. Back your toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Exhale. 5 breaths here. That is a modified, beginner style sun salutation A.
Can you, would you be able to just demonstrate it nice and fluently?
Mm-hmm.
What everybody should be able to see with themselves?
Breath. We're going to go through it one more time, a little bit quicker with the modified position. More breaths.
Just so people can see the transition.
Slightly bend your knees. Inhale, step forward your feet towards your hands. Come into that spinal extension. This is without blocks, palms are on the shins. And exhale, fold forward. If you need blocks, you can use blocks. And your fingers flatten. Inhale, come up.
I don't think you need to talk, just show the position.
Arms rise. And exhale, fold forward. Or excuse me, I'm into standing. Now we'll go through it just through the motion.
Breathe.
Now we're gonna go through one time. I'm gonna go 2 times through it. First time I'm gonna show you the modifications for sun salutation B, and then I'll just go through it on the modification. Okay? So you come into a chair pose. This one is a little bit more movement. Sit back, feet apart or together. Push your hips back. Okay? Press into the feet, engage the belly. And as you press the earth away from you, you keep a bend in the knees, feet together or apart. Okay, so I'm bringing mine together. And you come up as far as you can. So you start here first, sit back. Then you work your way to come up. Don't arch in the back. Keep your belly strong and full and your back open. Then from here, you come up and fold forward. Wherever you get to, you can use the blocks, hands and fingers, or if you can come forward. Inhale to your extension. Exhale, fold, and step back with your right, step back with your left. Come forward in your plank, drop your knees, and lower down. Come into your cobra. Quick breath. Everything engaged, stomach's engaged. Exhale, lower. Coming into your downward dog. Now you want to lunge the right foot in between the left leg. Maybe drop the knee. Come into a modified warrior 1. Okay? Or you can pivot the back foot if you're more open through the hips and come into a warrior 1. Hands apart or together. Then you come down, pivot the back foot to neutral, slide your right leg back, lower down. Always checking in. Engaging. Left leg comes forward between your hands. Drop your back knee. Come into warrior 1 here. Pivot the back foot. Use your back foot as a kickstand to reel you up. So really drive that foot down, lunge into the front knee. Hip is moving forward. Pinky toe side is staying down. Come up the arms apart or together. Don't drop the head back. Look up or forward. Go down, unpivot, slide back, knees, thighs, hips, belly, back, cobra, everything's engaged, legs, stomach, upper back, neck. Always checking in. Five breaths here. Forward. Off the knees, a little bit of momentum to come forward. So step. Ready to your extension. Maybe you want to fold forward with your blocks, so you can fold forward. Tip the weight slightly forward in your forward fold. Now, come back, your chair pose. Okay. Sitting, engaging the belly, lengthen the tailbone slightly down, and come upright with your torso with a bend in the knees. So you may be here for a little while, okay, building the strength, building the flexibility, building the technique, or you might be working your way more upright. You want to come up, and exhale, release. So that's your sun salutation B. So I'll go through it without saying anything, and I'll do it in a modified version.
So now being modified, would that be considered harder or less than the initial position?
Yeah, so learning things in a modified version is because you're either new at it, you're building the flexibility, the foundation, or you're coming back from an injury, or you just simply want to step back and just re-understand where it all started from for you. Okay?
So when someone talks about the yoga asanas and the different positions and the different, like for example, the poster that you have in your room, those are all the main actual positions and postures, and then modifying them would be to make it so that person would be able to do it and still get the flexibility and the benefit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you have to set the foundation. In order to come to your yoga mat, you could be a person that just comes to yoga for the first time and is naturally flexible. But you have to learn how to not just use your flexibility, you have to learn how to use your muscles and the proper alignment, right? So I can come to yoga and I have that natural flexibility. I'm a young person, I'm fit, and I can just come in and I can just do these beautiful postures, but I'm only using my flexibility and my ability to move in these forms.
Not concentrating on
Concentrating on muscle engagement and proper alignment, right? Once you start adding in those elements, it's harder, because now you have to do the work, because the body is lazy. It'll just go into these areas that it knows how to do because it's available. But in turn, that could make injury over time. And I speak from complete experience. I've had neck injury, rib injury, and lower back injury just from being, a cocky little yogi, if you will.
throwing yourself into a posture without proper warm-up.
Yeah, because I was able to do it. Personally, I was able to do it. I started yoga when I was 18, and I was super fit, and I was able to do the postures. I was flexible and stuff.
More advanced moves.
Yeah, I was able to do it. So, but then I learned that over time, what's going on? This isn't working for me. Like, I literally went into I've been practicing for years, and I went teaching, and I went into a practice. My friend was teaching. It's not her fault at all, completely mine. Near the end of the practice, I go into my back bend, and something happened, and I could barely come out of it. 3 weeks, couldn't even do that. So that taught me at the age of 22. Now I was, whoa, I don't even know where that came from. What it came from was a buildup of poor alignment that I didn't know that I was doing to my body, and it had enough. So
it's not really what it looks like, it's how it feels.
Postures aren't necessarily about, wow, look at that guy, look at that girl, look what they can do, that's amazing. It's not about that. It took them a long time to get there, and you don't know what's going through their mind and body to create the focus to generate that posture and that energy, right? So each posture, I'm giving you a foundation, and my body moves different from your body, but we're all humans and we do have these mechanical movements, but my body moves different from your body, but you can still do the postures. I'm giving you modifications to get there and how to build there, and you can see in other videos how quickly and straighter things are, more aligned things are, and the different modificational postures that are in them. So for instance, instead of cobra all the time, chaturanga and upward dog, right? Instead of our knees down. I'm not you and you're not me, but I'm teaching you the ability to get there. So wherever your body is at, if you're new to it, then this is just gonna set you up so you're not having injury. So we're gonna go through Surya Namaskara, Sun Salutation B, in a modified beginner strategy form, so that you understand how to hold posture and how to hold your body weight. You're gonna throw you into a yoga class, you're gonna come down into the plank pose, you're gonna be like, whoa, my back can't support that, my core can't support that because it's never done it. So that's why you would put the knees down and have those 3 points of contact, your feet, your knees, and your hands to support your midsection. So with that said,
but maybe a heavier set bodybuilder that's
not necessarily. Doesn't matter your physique. If you could be the strongest, like for instance, I had a wonderful comment from women in bodybuilding, and this wonderful woman made a comment that she did this workout with her husband, and then she went off to a yoga class, and she said she nearly died. That yoga is no joke, but clearly this woman is strong, but not maybe
accustomed to that practice.
accustomed mechanically
Those
to
movements.
holding the body in those repetitious moves or in those postures, because the breath is involved, right? So it's just a different sort of body mechanics. That's all. But you can definitely learn how to do it, right? So I'm just taking you through the motions. Sun salutations. You're always gonna usually find sun salutations in a traditional style of yoga practice.
Whether they're in Bikrams or
No. Sit back into your heels.
That's totally different.
Come into your chair pose. Bikrams is different, yes.
But like, you know, you have Vinyasa and Ashtanga and
You're doing postures, so as long as you have a foundation of postures, you'll be fine.
I'm thinking about how to engage.
As long as you
people.
have a foundation, I'm giving you a foundation. When we do sun salutations, you're doing a lot of postures that you're going to be doing in other practices. Okay? Sitting back into your chair. Come up to the stages that you can come up with bent knees, engaged core, strong torso. Remember, if you can't get here yet, that's fine. You're here. But we're trying to mimic this. Come here. Up. Forward. I'm going to bring my legs together. Work your way to a forward fold. Inhale to your spinal extension. Remember a little softness in the knees. Exhale, fold. Step back. So right here, for instance, some people might be like this, because they don't know how to hold up their core, right? It's okay. And they don't know, oh, should I engage my legs? I thought I was just holding up in my arms. So, plank. Strong. Okay? The top of a push-up. Drop your knees. Shoulder blades on the back. Come down. Hips, belly, ribs, heart. Reach the arms forward for a cobra position, which is setting you up for an upward dog position, essentially. But you may not want to get there, and that's okay. You may not have the interest. You may, I'm good here, this one feels good. Okay. So the other position from this would be here.
That's more advanced.
So you can see the difference in what your body needs to be able to support. Now I'm balancing on the tops of my toes and my hands. That's it. Everything's elevating.
Looking at the position from here, you're really actually focusing your chest a lot, and your back is getting the stretch as well. But you're kind of engaging your chest and widening your chest out, it looks like to me.
Having a more upright cobra. Or you're doing an upward dog at that point. A little bit different.
Those three modifications of Warrior One.
Here. So I'm here, more open hips. Oh, my hips aren't that open, so I'll keep my foot forward, or I will not come up at all.
The posture there, that's Warrior One.
Yes, this is Warrior One modified. The Warrior One moving up, and this is Warrior One.
That's the standard with the kick of the leg behind.
This is Warrior One now, hands together. And you can go.
Very powerful move. Feel strong in that move, right?
All the moves you should feel strong. You're setting up the foundation. Always engage the belly here. It's really easy just to sit in the back, and I despise it. Don't do it. I used to do it. Slowly unwinding.
Concentrating between the different moves, it looks like you're rolling your spine as opposed to jarring it, which is
You're
probably...
always hungry, you're always listening. That's why I need the breath.
Yeah. You could really get hurt even just jumping from these basic positions.
You get hurt just from going from cobra, coming back.
without thinking about focusing on your
engagement.
core engagement. Yeah.
Always relax the head. Sometimes people always hold it here for some reason. Relax. Relax the head and the neck muscle. This final extension move can bring you to here at one. Here, you have a little bit more flexibility, range of motion. You can come here.
So that's the sun salutation B.
Yes, so I just gave you sun salutation A and sun salutation B through a beginner stage, through modifications in order for you to build up to more powerful holds in the other positions that will be available to you in the postures. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go through a few standing postures. And in the yoga practice, why I gave you the sun salutation warm-up is because with yoga, and as progression happens, say you want to start, well, I won't even go there. Setting up your standing foundation is going to set you up for success in your yoga practice. You're also going to build the endurance and the stamina by mastering the standing postures. Now I'm going to take you through a series of postures that you would find in a traditional primary series of Ashtanga yoga. I'm not going to bring you through the whole standing series, but I'm going to bring you through a few main postures in the series that you would find in traditional yoga style practices. Okay, so this will set you up so that you understand how body mechanics moves and what position my feet go in, where I should feel the stretch happening, and how can I modify to progress in these standing foundational. So the first one was standing and then forward folding. Now we're going to come through more side angle postures and opening up the hips. I'm going to use these blocks to do that for you. Okay, so coming from standing at the front of your mat, you take the right leg out to the back of your mat, and you're going to completely pivot. So the front foot is going to go down to the long side of the mat, and the right foot is going to go to the back of the mat. And notice that I'm always spiraling on the heel of the foot to get into position, okay? So you're going to come into with a nice wide leg stance. This is something that you're just going to have to figure out, okay? I usually say it's about 5 footsteps or the length of one of your legs underneath the leg. But you're gonna have to figure that out on your own because your torso to your legs is different. You know, you may have long legs, short torso, vice versa. So this is called triangle pose, and this is the forward facing one. This is very traditional in yoga practice. You're gonna really find the inner hip opening, front of the pelvis. So what you do here is we're gonna use a block, okay? The knee joint, slightly buoyant. Okay, never lock it, just slightly buoyant. The strength comes from the driving the foot down and the flexing of the quadricep, okay? Now, you don't want to squeeze your bum. You want to use the thigh muscle and the foot and have that honest conversation with your knee joint, right? Get a block handy in your right hand. Reach your arms up, palms face together, and then extend them out, palms face the floor. From here, engage your stomach. And I want you just to play around with your hip motion, rocking your hips side to side, okay? Drive your left foot down into the yoga mat, really press into your big toe, drive it into the heel, a little bit of softness in that knee, and I want you to reach out as far as you can over the right leg and put the block down to the outside of the foot. Left hand can hold the waistline, and you can be right here with tented fingers, maybe a flat palm. If your palm or your fingers is in the mat or in the block, push. Don't sit into it. Push the block into the floor. Turn your heart center up as you engage the stomach muscle.
Maybe you want to lift your arm up off the shoulder. Look forward. I want you to lean slightly back and avoid leaning forward in the torso. You want to stack. Okay? See how I'm stacking. I'm not leaning forward to get my hand on the block. I'm stacking the hips, the torso. Okay? Can't reach the leg or the block yet. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you just want to be on the shin, below the knee. Okay, never put your hand on your knee. Maybe you're here. This is great. Okay, so wherever you can get to. 5 breaths is your traditional count in a posture. So we're going to soften the right knee, take our block, and inhale, come up. Hold the block. The right foot's coming in. Now the toes are facing the long side of the mat, and the left toes are facing the short side of the mat. Move your hips around just to get into the hips, right? Arms come up. Arms go out, palms face down. I want you to reach forward over the left side, stacking the body. Don't lean forward. And place the block to the outside of your foot. Arm comes up, or you can hold the waistline. 5 breaths here in your forward-facing triangle. Push into the block. If you feel that the range of motion in your head and neck is good and you want to look up towards the ceiling, you can do that. Otherwise, look forward, that's fine. Everything's engaged. So your legs, your feet, your stomach muscles, your chest, your back, even your neck support with your head. Fingers are wide, toes are spread. A lot going on. Hanging out in the side position. I'm going to take the block, soften the knee, press through both feet, and inhale and come up. Okay? Just step forward with your back right foot, step forward to the front of your mat and pause here. I'm going to show you this posture, which is reversing the triangle. Okay? So now you're going to take your right foot forward, and your left foot's coming back in a slightly shorter stance, and I'm going to turn my heel in so that I have a slight pivot, just like a warrior one. I have a slight pivot so my toes are faced out to the long side of my mat. Okay? Take the block into the left hand, and we're going to twist over the right leg. Okay? So inhale, come up, hand to the waistline. Exhale, reach forward like an extension, and start to get the understanding of what's going on in that right hamstring. Then maybe you want to place the block to the inside of the foot to start. Okay? And start to work a twist over the right side. Make sure that your butt isn't leaning into the right side. This is super common. You want to make sure that your right hip flexor and your gluteus and your leg is even with the left side. So you can even put your hand there on your tailbone just to make sure that the levels are even. If you got more flexibility, stay here and put your hand, just stay here with your hand on the tailbone. If you want more, bring the block to the outside of the pinky toe, with a flat palm, and then stay here. Otherwise, your arm can go up, and then you can feel how it's more demanding with the rotation of just the ribs. So the rotation in this posture is coming from the lower belly and up through the shoulders and head. The hips are staying forward and neutral. It's a little bit more challenging of a posture, a little bit more demanding. Anything in a twist, more demanding. Exhale the hand down. Inhale, come back to center. All the way up with your block, step forward. I'm just going to switch sides. Okay? Left foot's forward, right foot's back, shorter stance. You'll figure out your stance policy as it works for you. You'll just find it through practice. Okay? Then you want to have your foot slightly turned out. Block is in the right hand on the waistline. Lift up, the weight is even through both feet and both legs. So press down and twist the front hip forward. Now you can feel that inner thigh really engaged and the demand on the back foot. Reach forward. Start to get an understanding of what's going on in the hamstring. And place the block to the inside. Reach for your tailbone, make sure it's even on both sides of your glutes. Or block to the outside, spread the fingers, press the block into the floor, and get that rotation happening through the lower belly and up through the shoulders and neck. Okay?
starts boring at first, but learning the foundation in order to get there. Then as you get the foundation, you get the movements, it gets faster. Starts to make more sense. Well, like learning anything new. Exhale, come down. Inhale through center and come up, and step forward. Now we'll go through a side lunge, okay? Step out with your right foot and put both feet to the long side of your yoga mat. Okay? Then you're gonna, again, take your right toes, spiral on the heel, and face the back of the mat. So this one you'll have a fairly long stance in here. When you lunge into the right leg, you're gonna notice, maybe I need to creep my foot forward, or maybe I need to take a step back. You just don't want the knee away over here like this, okay? You don't want to be collapsing in your rear thigh either, okay? Just a lunge, knees in alignment with both ankle, and maybe you're gonna take your block to the outside of the foot. Place your hand on it. Right here, look down at your knee and start to press your leg in towards your arm so that the two are meshing together. You don't want to have your knee collapsing inward. It's really common that happens. Strength, it's the flexibility in the hips. So push the leg so that the knee is in line with the shin bone and basically towards the second toe in your foot. Then you want to take your hand to your waistline, start to tilt your heart up slightly. Be here. Or you can take the arm forward, put the shoulder blade on your back body, turn your palm slightly on an angle, and sweep the arm up and over, palm face down. Then you could look up and out past your fingers, or stay neutral. Don't sink into the back hip. It's in alignment, strong, supported. Feet are fully weighted. Feel all the corners of your on either side of the front and the back. Feel your belly strong. Feel this lateral stretch. It's literally like I have a skipping rope. Like I'm standing on the rope with my left foot and I'm stretching it up over the side of my body. The arm down, grab the block, inhale, come up as you push through the front foot. Ooh, pause, spiral in, left foot comes out, move the hips around, just check it out, see what's going down. Okay, you're gonna lunge, find that rhythm, find that balance, find the alignment. The block up and over the outside of the foot. Kiss the leg into the arm, getting the hips slightly forward, lengthening the tailbone, strengthening the belly. Weight is in the feet, strong foundated legs. The arm could go out, pull the shoulder blade on the back, keep the palm up and over, could look up. Make sure when you do the different moves that you're not compromising what you've already set up for yourself. Okay? You're not gonna flare the ribs open to get the arm up and over here. You're not gonna lean forward to get the hand to the floor. Stay in the foundation and the structure of the posture. Up, push through the back foot or through the top foot and spiral in and forward. Now from here, we're going to go into a twist. So I'm just going to step forward and short on either side so it's easy to see. Left foot goes forward, right foot follows front of the mat. Just a couple more postures. You should be feeling pretty good in those hips, that back, that belly. Those legs should be feeling pretty long. Your upper body should feel good. So for this one, we're just going to twist the lunge. Take a step back, the left foot. Drop your knee. Okay? Place the block on the outside of your foot. This one's challenging. So lift up the left arm, inhale, and exhale, push onto your hand onto your thigh and roll your stomach back as you turn. So what I've done is, I've inhaled, I don't want to flare my ribs, I want to protect my lower back, so I inhale, and then I exhale, pull the belly in,
twist. Left hand comes just above the knee, lift up through your torso, and your right hand goes on your lower back. You press in and down. So press in and down to start to get that rotation, that strength happening through those shoulders. Okay? You can be right here. On this one, don't throw the head over the shoulder. Neutral. Go a little further. Then that same action where you inhale and you exhale and you engage, and then get your elbow over the knee and you can put your hand on that block. Now your leg again is going to push into that arm and your arm is going to push back, so they have this meshing going on. And you can stay here, hand on your lower back. Or you can lift the knee off of the floor, okay? And maybe you want to send your arm up. You can, now it's getting more demanding, and or over, okay? But it is pretty demanding. Just be where you're at. Stages. When you come out of this posture, it's quite deep. I want you to inhale out of the twist. Pause. Step forward. Left foot towards the right foot. Up. You can do the same on the other side. Take the right leg back and lunge. Block is on the outside of the foot. Inhale. Exhale. Pull the belly in and put your hand above your knee and your left hand on your lower back. You're pressing in and pulling down. Get the shoulders square. Get the shoulder blades on your back. Feeling the engagement in the front body and the back body. Here, okay, or you can get that elbow over the knee, more demanding now. Maybe you want to lift up. Maybe the arm wants to go up and over, wherever you're at. Inhale, untwist. Now you're just going to step out, both feet and face forward. Okay? As both feet face forward, you want to have a nice wide leg stance. Usually about, they usually say like 5 footsteps or the length of your leg underneath you. So we're going to take 2 blocks here, one in either hand.
My Auntie Diane is watching.
Hey, Diane. So you can be with your blocks. Blocks are great because you can be here, you can be here, you can be here. Depends on your level of range of motion, right? That's fine. So this is a wide leg forward fold, and there's 4 positions. I'm just going to give you the first one. And we're going to try it with the blocks like this. You already know where you're at with the range of motion in your legs and your hips. You know how high you want to block. So you just play around with that. Hands on the waistline. Inhale, the heart comes up as the navel goes down and in, lengthening the tailbone. Same foundations apply in every single posture. Press through the feet, evenly weighted, strong legs. Not jar the knee joints back, upright. Inhale. As you exhale, a little bit of softness in the knees, hinging from the hips, leading with the heart. You come down. Oh, maybe this is as far as I can go. So I'll get my blocks. Okay, maybe I can go a little lower. Press into my blocks. Maybe I can go a little further. So I'm going to use my blocks as a pair of hands, and I'm going to slide them in between the legs. Shoulder distance apart with the hands. Again, you're pushing down and slightly forward to help your torso pull in between the legs. So you pushing and pulling to get there, right? So I'm pushing down and slightly forward with the strength of my hands. And then you start to come down. So my head's touching the floor, so now you need to come up a little bit. Here we go, elbows are bent, shoulder blades are on the back,
And maybe I can slide my blocks a little further in between the legs. Maybe at some point when you don't need the blocks, it's your hands that are doing the work for you, right? Elbows are hugging toward one another. You're leaning forward, tip the weight forward, okay, so that your hips, your tailbone, and your glutes are vertical. Long to the spine. Never put pressure on the head here. Hovering position unless you're going up into an inversion. We're not going into a full inversion today. We are in an inversion right now. Head is upside down. You're going to slowly come out. Inhale. Woo! Sometimes you get a little lightheaded, so just relax there. That's part of the wide leg series. Okay? Bring your blocks out of your way. Bring your feet forward, and you're going to step forward towards the front of your yoga mat. Now today, we're going to come into a standing posture. You're probably familiar with it, called the tree pose. So with balance, standing on one foot can be challenging, and so challenging that you don't want to do that posture anymore. So I'm going to set you up. If you have a wall nearby, a windowsill, whatever, go to that wall, okay? But don't rely on the wall as your full support system. It's just there for you to not fall over, right? So it's just, you just want to delicately put your hand on the support and not rely on it completely, okay? But you can use it. So we're gonna root into that right foot, spread the toes, and start to feel the whole foot. So inside, outside, in the front, and in the inside, and the outside, in the back, and that full heel, okay? So the leg is nice and strong. Do not sit in the hip and favor that leg to build the strength. I want you to stay neutral. When the leg comes off the floor, you're imagining, phantoming that that leg is still there, that you can still use the body mechanics, okay? So you're setting up the foundation again. So let's go into tree pose. Okay, so lift up by the ankle. Good. Maybe you're not super flexible through opening the hip on a side here. So maybe you just want to put the arch of your foot into the side of the calf muscle. This is great. Once you're here, just push the knee open. Push the thigh back. Okay, so the side of the outer thigh. Just keep pushing back. Okay, nice and strong. Feel your hip bones are neutral. Waistline, pelvis, all good. I'm lifting up and pulling down. You could be here with the hands at the heart, or here with the hands at the hips, or here with the hands, wherever you want to be. If you're a little bit more open in the hips, you have more strength, I want you to take your heel up, high as you can, to the upper thigh. Then I want you to spread your foot along the inner thigh, a little bit towards the back, encouraging this knee to draw down, open the hip, and to draw back. But don't bring anything with you. Keep everything neutral. You're getting that full range of motion through the hip socket. And remember, the hip is like a ball and socket joint. It moves in a circle, just like your ankle. Your knee, however, is like a hinge. It only opens and closes. It doesn't like to rotate. So that's why we keep the foot nice and flat. That's why we keep the knee joint closed and quiet. And then we're focusing on the hip and the stability and the balance. You can partner together. Whatever you want to do. Focus. And then you can slowly release by bringing the knee forward and down. Maybe you want to move the ankle joint around on the standing leg. Get ready to do it on the other side. That'll go a little quicker. Feel the left foot. Not favoring, neutral. Hold the support just for like a little bit of balance. Want to come up high as you can. Place the heel towards the inner thigh. Spread the foot across the inner thigh towards the back. Push the foot in towards the thigh muscles and press the thigh muscle in towards the foot. So you're squeezing these two elements together as you push your hip back. Great entity practice balance posture. You can always flutter around with your posture a little bit more by closing the eyes. And I always say practice outside in the elements. It changes the whole serene of the balance. So if you go practice out on, you know, big ledge, not close to the ledge though, or you go practice out by some water, like some moving water, you practice up on a nice solid fat log. Okay, try that. Or in the grass, or in the sand. Sand's challenging. So try your yoga also out in the elements, if and when you can. Draw forward, out, and down. Let's bring it to the floor. So we're gonna come right into seated. I'm gonna give you 2 more postures, and then we're gonna shut it down, okay? Hopefully you got some stuff here. Now, this is a 2-inch block, and I'm just gonna use it to show you for seated forward fold, because this is a challenging one. This is like one of my favorite postures. I don't know why, I just like it. So you could be here, right? Now what the block does is you wanna be on the very edge of the block, okay, to help initiate that forward action in your hips, okay? So think about your hips as a old pair of, you know how we used to, our car seat dials, how we used to have to actually manually move them to get forward or back? Think of your hips as a manual pair of old school car seat dials, okay? So folding forward, have your feet nice and flat, flexed, so toes face up, okay? Legs can be slightly bent if you're super, super snug in the hamstrings or your hips, just not giving you room. And you can work your way down like so. You can also, I have a fitness band here, a resistance band. You can also put something like a strap or a resistance band around your feet, and you can slightly pull on it to help you come forward, but you're not like pulling on it to come forward, you know what I mean? Like it's a guidance. So I'm gonna go ahead and lengthen the legs down a little bit further. And if I have a resistance band or a strap, hold it in either hand. Don't squeeze it super tight. Put your shoulders on your back, get nice and upright in your torso. Engage your belly. You go. Belly. Now you're gonna feel your back extensor muscles start to engage. And you work as far as you can, maybe you're here. You're going a little further, and then you start to get your lower ribs on your thighs. Okay. Never, ever do this to get down. Don't protract through your back. So, engaging through your front body and your back body. You're coming down now, belly, lower ribs, gazing towards the toes. Maybe now you could reach your feet. Okay, so a little bend in the elbows. And then the upper ribs could now possibly go on the thighs. Then the next stage would be your heart center, okay? So you're never compromising to get there. So wherever you're at, feel this release in your larger muscle groups in the hamstrings. You're gonna feel it in the calf muscles. You're gonna feel it through the gluteal fold at the top of the thighs. You're gonna feel it if you're engaging properly through your belly. You're gonna feel a nice, beautiful, muscular release in the sacral joints, okay, in your lower back and your pelvis. And now I'm just going to flip it over for you. I'm going to give you a little bridge pose. Take home. Okay, you're going to release this. You're going to put, you don't have to, I'm going to put this around the legs, help inspire and control the legs going out when you're trying to come into a back bend. You could also, if you don't have a strap or a resistance band, you could take the block in between the thighs and squeeze it, which is going to do a little bit of the opposite from the fitness band, from the resistance band. So the resistance band would be like helping you not roll out, right? And the block would also be helping you not roll out, but you'd be squeezing in. Get it? Okay. So I'll actually do it with the block. Most of us could squeeze a big fat towel or something between the legs. So you put it between the legs, the feet are hip distance apart, and you're just off the knee and the ankle, okay? I like to kind of come down and see if I could almost like tickle my toes or my ankle, or excuse me, tickle my ankle, and then I actually know, okay, I'm at a good distance. I'm pretty familiar with my measurements in this posture. Now you want to lengthen the head. The only thing that's coming off of the ground here is going to be the hips and most of your back body. You're going to be balanced on your feet and your shoulders and your head, right? So this is called your little bridge, prepping for full back bend, which is your wheel, okay? So what I want you to do is just press into the feet, press into the feet. And I want you to lift the hips up, okay? So just the hips. Now your bum's probably squeezing to keep the hips lifted. Try to loosen the glutes just a little bit, okay? They are going to be engaged, but they're not going to be doing the work for you. Now you're going to squeeze that block. You want to make sure that your heels are behind your toes and your toes aren't flaring out like that. Heels behind the toes. Squeeze the block so that your feet, or your legs don't, your knees don't go out. Favor the hips. Lift up. Then you're going to be here. Might be good enough for you. If you could, I want you to roll the shoulder blades under one by one, as much as you can, to get that pucker in your upper spine so that there's no weight on your neck. Remember I said you're going to be on your head, the back, your shoulders, and your feet. It's not an easy position. Like my legs are shaking right now squeezing this block, okay? But I'm engage your stomach. You're not like this, okay? You're not flaring the belly. You're lifting and engaging. Press the weight into the heels, and the heels also help you drive up through the hips. Squeeze. Whoop, almost lost my block. And then you're going to lower down, squeeze the block. Drop it on your toes. Lower down. Block out. Okay. Draw the knees one by one in. Relaxed. Maybe move around on your pelvis side to side. So the key to practicing yoga and becoming more familiar with the body, allowing the body to be limbering up and building strength at the same time, owning your tone. So with the experiences, the practices, you have to do it. You have to literally get on the mat and body around. Okay, you don't necessarily have to do these postures that I gave you today. I was just setting you up for, some success, some knowledge. There's lots of stuff out there, but I'm just giving you a basic little foundation of what to look for in the postures. I mean, the explanation is however you can take it. Lots of people explain things different ways, but realm of it is you're going to be structuring into those foundations. You're going to be looking for those things like the feet. How do I engage? What do I engage? It's always the same. Always the same.
As long as you take those basic moves, you're going to be able to figure out how you should be angling your foot so that your knee is not getting twisted and put in a vulnerable position when you're transitioning from move to the other.
So you roll over to the right side.
That seems to be the basic.
And you want to come up into your seat. Now I'm just going to not talk too much because I'm going to let you go, but
like anything in life, I mean, if you want to get better at running, if you want to get better at bodybuilding, if you want to get better at cycling, anything, you want to get better at yoga, you have to do it. You want to get better at eating healthy, you have to practice. Those are all the practice here. So, gave you a little bit of a foundation. You know, send out some comments, like the video, share it with some friends, follow our channel. There's tons of content out here. Not only yoga, we have hit skipping fitness, I've got Thai massage, I've got front yard gardening, healthy eating. It's basically a healthy lifestyle. And it's really important to me that when you come to a practice, especially like a yoga practice, that you come to it with some knowledge that you can be confident for personal. Because everybody has a personal experience, and every posture is a different experience. And it's emotional and overwhelming, but you can do it. For some of us, it's simpler to attend that style of practice or that yoga, and for some of us, it's quite challenging to get there for whatever reason it is. Maybe it's motivation, maybe it's like your personal body, maybe it's
A lot of times it's injury. People
It's injury,
have
yeah.
injuries because they don't do the stretching in their regular workouts and their regular lifestyle, and they end up getting injured. And then someone says, "Hey, maybe you should be doing yoga," and they're kind of like, I'm on the
But
edge.
depends on your injury, right?
Yeah.
There's still forms. I mean, I'm not saying that you have an injury. What I'm saying is, if you do have an injury for your fitness or whatever, it doesn't mean you cannot still do some things. I mean, always talk with your physician or your therapist, whoever you're dealing with, and they'll let you know when and ready to do what and when. Of course, those are always things in consideration. But if you're just curious about yoga and you know someone that is in it, or you're in it and you're not doing anything, or you're taking a step back, well, get on your mat and try it out.
We've done a lot of shadows. So we've got yoga with Ranji. Thank you for following. Sarush, Fatima, Morami, Brian, Arat, Niliam, Sarish Ramagawada, sorry, I ruined your name. Amrish, Arub, Heya Eben, Ujwala, Sanchita, Raul,
Wow.
Panjalai, Aprani, Padel, Karen, Sandy, Pearl, Pri,
Pearl.
Manoj, Sheila, Ramesh, Javier, Sunita, Mizan, Kirtan, Duda, Anoran, Singh, Sandy, Rishia, Rohan, Anita, I'm sorry, Timothy Wallace, Ruth McLaughlin, hard to pronounce your name, Case, Rada, Scott, Solomon, Michelle, Richard, Amy, Erwin, Abe, Ina, Michelle, and Yugarthi, and Ed. Thank you for liking and following.
With that said, get down, do your Shavasana, you earn it, you do it, you relax, and stay healthy. Don't be afraid, and my message today is do not judge yourself compared to someone else, especially body image. Do not judge yourself to anyone else. You be you do you, and build that confidence and be happy and live that healthy lifestyle that you